What's up guys, this is Ray, and today I'll be talking about the 2019 Japanese blood splatter horror comedy exploitation movie Rise of the Machine Girls, directed by Kobayashi Yuki and starring Tsukimiya Himena, Hanakage Kanon, and Sakaguchi Tak. But before we dive into this review, if you guys are new to Eiga-Man Ray, I upload reviews and discussions of Japanese movies every chance that I get. So if you're new to the channel and you dig the content, you can support the channel by checking out other videos which I've uploaded and also by subscribing. But on to review, let's talk about Rise of the Machine Girls. Now, first of all, contrary to what many of you guys may think, this movie from a narrative standpoint does not have any connection at all to the original The Machine Girl, which was directed by Eguchi Noboru. I've uploaded a review of that movie not too long ago, so if you want to check out this movie, I'll leave a card or I'll leave a link somewhere down below. But anyways, from a narrative standpoint, there is no connection. But Eguchi is credited with the original character design, so there's that, you know, you have a girl with a machine gun for an arm, so that shares those elements. And also there's going to be a lot of blood and a lot of limbs flying, a lot of death, and a lot of fun. So, but other than that, from the story is totally unique, totally separate, and can be enjoyed as its own unique experience. But let's talk about the story of Rise of the Machine Girls. It's about these two sisters, Ami and Yoshia. Ami is the older sister, Yoshia is the younger sister. At this point, in the beginning of the story, Yoshia is the one with the machine gun arm. But she's actually an amputee, and both sisters are victims of human trafficking. But they live in this really kind of comically bad town where a bunch of outcasts from society live. It's pretty funny when it's funny, you just gotta buy into this atmosphere. But during the day, the two sisters perform as J-pop idols. They perform, they sing and dance for the local boys. But at night, it's just Yoshia and some of her friends, they deliver justice to bad guys. And they get into the mix with this local human trafficking family. And they deliver justice, of course, Yoshia with her machine gun arm. But what follows after this encounter is a barrage of wacky assassins and just wacky characters in general. A lot of bullets, a lot of physics-defying bullets, mind you. And of course, buckets and buckets of blood. So yeah, that's the gist of the story. You know, just like just like its predecessor, it's a very simple story. Simple, I guess. But anyway, let's talk about the positives of Rise of the Machine Girls. First of all, it's as over the top as what you may imagine. Especially if you've seen the first movie, you know how over the top it can get. But this movie amps it up by 100. Like, everything about this movie is just more ridiculous than its predecessor. Everything from the character designs, especially the character designs. Like, at first I was kind of put off with just how much more excessive it was from the original Machine Girl. I was expecting, or rather maybe hoping, something more akin to how the original was. But this movie amps it up a lot, as I said, and it took me a little bit to get used to it. But after a while, I was all into it, just because this movie wasn't going to go back down. It was going full force. Everyone was committed to it, and and just delivered. But anyways, yeah, with the character designs, you get a really weird, bizarre, just kind of unique group of characters that the Machine Girls come across. You know, the assassins, which I said about earlier, you know, you get everything from these alien-skinned girls with the ability to manipulate their boobs and have them form into different shapes and weapons and stuff like that. You have this pregnant assassin who, you know, once you see what's inside, you think it's like something from Total Recall, like the old sci-fi movie Total Recall. But I think the character that this movie did well in including is Matsutaka, who's played by Sakaguchi Tak. Now, Tak, out of all the, you know, for me, he's like probably one of the best action performers in Japanese cinema today, and his inclusion in this movie just gives a whole lot of legitimacy to the action scenes that are featured. And you know, speaking of the action scenes were all very well done. When you compare it to its predecessor, there's a lot more, not really choreography, but there's a lot more stunt work, a lot more difficult stunt work, a lot more flying around, and it just felt a lot more high octane, and that's something I definitely enjoyed. But there's even this like 3-minute long, one take, no cut action sequence, which Tak, or his character Matsutaka, and Ami, they just go through these hordes of bad guys, just rip through them. A lot of blood, a lot of bodies, and it was fun. Like, it was a genuinely fun action sequence. I think what makes it fun also is that, as I hinted earlier, this movie forgets how physics work, or rather ignores it for most of the time. You get a lot of bullets just ricocheting off of walls and going into their targets with very pinpoint accuracy, but you know, yeah, it's just ridiculous, but you buy into it, and it just makes it all the more fun. And something I just want to point out is that, you know how I hinted earlier, this movie amps up a lot of the stuff that was featured in the original Machine Girl. You know, the blood, the violence, the kinds of character designs they feature in the movie. This also includes the perviness. There are just, like, the camera just loves to go out of its way to show gratuitous shots of panties, of butts, of the titular machine girls. You know, it's, at first I was kind of weirded out by it because that wasn't really around much in the original movie, but then I just thought about it a lot more. You know, this movie is just excessive in everything. You know, like, I guess if you're going to make an exploitation movie with already the violent content, you might as well go all the way with other types of content. And also, same as the first movie, everyone is 110% committed with just what's happening on screen, with the performances, with the dialogue, with the hamminess, and because they were 110% committed, it was easy just to buy into everything and be invested in what's happening. As far as the negatives of Rise of the Machine Girls, you know, it's not a big thing. You know, mainly I didn't really buy into the J-pop idol premise of the story. Like, as I said earlier, Ami and Yoshia, they're J-pop idols by day, so you get a lot of the soundtrack featuring these J-pop tracks. You know, I think the actual lead girls, at least one of them, is an actual J-pop idol. I'm pretty sure they both do Gravure. But you get a lot of the soundtrack just filled with these J-pop influenced tracks. You know, granted, especially the ending credit song was really good at mixing in, like, a traditional Japanese songs with rock elements, you know, if you're familiar with Yosakoi dancing, and also with J-pop vocals. You know, it was a really interesting mix, but overall, I'm not the biggest fan of J-pop music, and because the J-pop theme was at the center of the two girls' characters, I don't know, I wasn't buying it all the way. One thing I will admit about the J-pop element in Rise of the Machine Girls is that it gives this movie its own kind of unique energy, its own separated identity from its predecessor, and it's what makes it stand apart from the original The Machine Girl. But other than the J-pop element, I thought the story was a mixed bag, but let's get real. You're not going to watch Rise of the Machine Girls for the story. But overall, what did I think of Rise of the Machine Girls? You know, it was fun, you know, and it's very just excessive when compared to its predecessor. You know, I hate comparing it constantly to the Machine Girl, but because this takes the Machine Girl mantle and tries to run with it and remix it, you can't help but compare it. But, you know, overall, I think I still enjoy the original one a little bit better just because of how simplistic the original story was. Simplistic. But I do appreciate all the ways that Rise of the Machine Girls tries to take the original premise and make it its own by adding it a lot more excessive things, being more perverted, featuring idols at the center of the story, and just having all the ridiculousness just amped up tremendously. And of course, not all the content featured in Rise of the Machine Girls is for everyone, but I'm pretty sure those of you guys who are going to watch Rise of the Machine Girls are very well aware of that. But as far as recommending Rise of the Machine Girls, I definitely do. Definitely check it out. If you're a fan of the original Machine Girl, if you're a fan of Iguchi's filmography and even Nishimura's filmography, that style of just over-the-top blood splatter horror comedies, then yeah, you'll feel right at home with Rise of the Machine Girls. And this movie, as I said, like, just look how bizarre and unique everything is. It does feel like its own experience. Anyways, yes, those are my thoughts on Rise of the Machine Girls. If you guys have seen it, what did you guys think? Please let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on the socials. And if you really did the content, feel free to hit that notification bell so you can be updated every time I upload a new video. And also check out my Patreon page, which you can find in the description area below. And yeah, that's about it for me, guys. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope to catch you all again in the next video. Take it easy.